Hello, everyone. This is for my website, arialanatole.com, and I will be promoting this on Instagram. This is that promised Risperdal uh, blog. Blog. So I've written a blog about this med, and I'm also doing this vlog. Now, these are not, most of the vlogs I do are 5 minutes or less. I cannot control the time on this. So we'll start with outfit today was sourced by Amazon from Japan. The shirt, which I am actually digging, and this bow tie again from the tie company, Tie Bar, which took me an hour to tie. Which is a good segue into talking about Risperdal compared to Depakote. So I wore the same tie for Depakote, and there's something weird about that drug that I call it my manager. So it took me 50 minutes to tie the tie on thing. Now that I took an hour to do it, I realized that I tied it wrong the first time. I just got lucky that it looked okay. And that's perfect for Depakote because sometimes it's one of those controllers, but it doesn't really affect the minutia of my life the way Risperdal does. And so Risperdal, it took me an hour to tie this tie, but now I know how to tie the tie, and I will tie it quicker and quicker the next time. So that's a minute on nothing. Here we go. So Risperdal, I consider this my heart, and I think that's why I've been so nervous to talk about this particular drug, because I have an almost religious devotion to Risperdal. I firmly believe that without Risperdal, I would be dead today. There is no scientific evidence to prove this, of course. However, I have faith in this drug. I have faith that does not exist with the other medications I am prescribed. So, as I was talking about Depakote, it failed me so many times I cannot even begin to count. Abilify, which I will get to probably next week, it's the next most important drug on my list, fails me less, but Risperdal has never failed me. As long as I take it, do not have the symptoms that it alleviates. And what are those symptoms? Well, it alleviates the voices in my head. And that's very hard to explain to individuals who do not have voices in their head. And I know everyone will say, well, I have a voice in my head. And yeah, that's that internal dialogue. I have voices in my head that come from outside that I believe that are coming from outside. And the thing about Risperdal is it shuts those off. They don't exist under it. So it's a long story of how I get to it. I'll say there was a car, and I was with some lesbians who like to fight, and they try to jump out of the car. I then get home, and my mother is confronting me with truths, and my fragmented brain cannot face that. I don't understand what's happening. The reality and the real world and the Joseph world collided. And when this happens, I tend to just explode. And so this explosion led me to a rubber room where my father was actually in this room with me. Now, the reality is he was not there, and I was not sane. Um, so what happens really quickly after that is I get put on this drug called Risperdal, and it took more than a month, so about 6 weeks or less. I don't know. Read the blog. I'm much better on that on timing for it to take effect, but it felt like forever. And a part of me was starting to believe that the because some of the symptoms had alleviated. So part of me was starting to believe that the voice in my brain was actually just something that normal people had to deal with. But I can say that April morning, wow, I woke up and it was silent. I'll make a little comment about that. I kind of don't like silence because for such a long time of my life, there was this like constant voice talking to me. So you will, if you know me, I always have, like music on, or I've got noise to replace the voices that were in my head till eight. I think it was like 17 when that happened. 17. I was 17 when that happened. So the voices that were with me till 17, they stopped, and I now want other noise. But I'd rather have that noise than those voices. I knew Risperdal was going to be weird because I also want to talk to you about why I have had to go off of it. Because why would someone go off their heart? Yeah. I mean, this is literally a drug that I can guarantee a level of sanity that I think everyone would like. Yeah? So a few times in my life, because of my stupid decisions and because of the lack of insurance in this nation, I had no access to Risperdal. So as a bipolar, you should know that it's very hard for those of us with this illness to stay on our medication. I never go off Risperdal. Ever. Unless I cannot access it. When the guy across the counter at Rite Aid says no, your insurance says no, and you need this amount of money to pay for it, and I don't have that amount of money, and then you're like, okay, do you understand that, like, what you're doing to me? And he does it, and I understand he does it. That's the government. That's the big business, right? And I don't want to that man because he's just doing his job, or that woman because they're just doing her job. But it's that lack of access that makes us people who suffer from mental health so frustrated. Look, I can stay sane. I can actually be an amazing sane person. What I need is prescriptions filled, and I can't stock up. So that's something that people should understand about people with mental illness. Oh yeah, when it's cheap, I can totally stock up. But here's the problem. Then I'll take all those drugs and kill myself with them because that's the back end of bipolar, right? So I need to be able to access those drugs at small quantities when needed. One, yeah. Two, I need good, clean, easy access to psychiatric care so that I get a Risperdal prescription every time I need one, right? Because if I don't have that, because that's happened as well before, right? Like here in Tampa, it took me forever to find a damn doctor, and I almost ran out of my Risperdal, and I literally was freaking out. Okay. So I've kind of blabbed on enough. I just want to say thank you for everyone who is looking at this. Risperdal is what I call the manager of the crazy Joseph. So it shuts off the voices, it shuts off the hallucinations. It doesn't do anything else. But those two things are so precious to my well-being that I find this drug my heart. I don't know if this looks good. I'm using a different lens. Comment, whatever, do what you do. Internet, Instagram, and thanks for seeing me. Oh, by the way, Gasparilla. That's right, that's what I was looking for. Gasparilla weekend. I intend to partake. Have a beautiful night.